Hi everyone, and welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, where I'll be giving you 4 of my best tips for tomorrow's racing. Now before we get stuck into that, I quickly just want to recap on how our selections performed today. In the end, we were a bit like the grand old Duke of York. We were neither up or we were down, as we had some long shot profit at Taunton with my outsider of the day there. If Carlsberg did, we actually put him up at 20 to 1 each way last night. We were 5 places at Sky Bet, and like all good extra place bets, they managed to just sneak in the extra places, finishing in 5th place. So if you bet with Sky Bet today with the 5 places on offer in this race, you would have come out with profit from our advertised selection. Now we did offer him up at 20 to 1, and he did take a bit of a walk in the betting. He drifted out to 33 to 1 in the end. And unfortunately, due to the new rules with some firms, they're not going to be offering best odds guarantee in these kind of races anymore. If you take the extra places with quite a few firms, you're going to have to take that price, and if they do drift out, you won't be able to collect the final SP. So a little bit disappointing there. I know some of you probably would have got on at 33 to 1 because you would have seen the bigger price when he did drift out, but that really did help us today, because away from that it was really dismal. So I Told You was far too keen early on. She didn't settle at all, and she didn't get things her own way in front, which I think she needed to if she was going to be seen to good effect. But in the end, she was no match for the winner of Ian Williams's, and I saw 1 or 2 of you put that horse up in the comments box below, so fair play to you if you back that one. But our selection there, So I Told You, that's the last time I'm backing her. I put her up a couple of times this season, and I thought from running last time at Windsor, she still retained a bit of ability. But yeah, I real head scratcher today. I'm not sure why she didn't perform. And also as well, the same can be said with our next best at Taunton with Shebel for Tom Simmons and Brian Carver. I didn't jump fluently at all, and we knew our fate quite early on. So yeah, disappointing day overall in the fact that we couldn't get any winners, but we didn't lose any money. We broke even thanks to our profit from our long shot tip, and yeah, I'll take that, because the other 2 selections were a nightmare selection. And that race at Taunton, I should say, if you saw it, it was a really messy affair. Quite a few foolers, quite a few jockeys that were unseated. I hope all the jockeys and horses are okay. I haven't seen if they were, but yeah, that was the only thing of note we had to write home today. If Carlsberg did got the extra place there at 20 to 1 each way. So yeah, not the worst day, not the best day today, but fingers crossed we can have some winners tomorrow, and hopefully our fortunes can change. And let's get into the tips for tomorrow's racing, where we're actually going to be starting with my nap tomorrow, which runs in the 328 at Newton Abbot. Now I'm quite sweet on this horse tomorrow. It's a horse called Killer Clown for Adam Wedge and Emma Lavelle. Now you can currently back this horse at the time of recording. I'm just making this video after 6:30, currently available at 5 to 1. Now this horse, I know the connections think a lot about him, and they've always said he was going to be a chaser in the making, and this is the year hopefully he can prove himself. If you look back through some of his form so far, he was a point-to-point winner over in Ireland, and then he came over here. He ran respectably in a bumper at Warwick to finish 2nd behind Lucy Wadham's horse Trim Commerly, who's got a fair level of form under rules. And then last season we saw him run a few times over hurdles, but anything he did over hurdles really was going to be a bonus. He had some fair form at Newbury when he finished 5th behind the big breakaway of Colin Tizard, who looks a really nice prospect later on this season, and he ran really well in the Ballymore at the Cheltenham Festival, so that's not a bad level of form. And this horse, Killer Clown, also went close at Ascot when finishing in 3rd place behind Falco de Blitz. So not bad form really from his novice hurdle days, but I think, like I said, they've always said, if you read a lot of the quotes about this horse earlier on in his career from various stable tours over the last couple of years, Emma Lavelle said that this horse was always going to be a chaser in the making. And last time we saw him, he didn't get very far at Uttoxeter. You're obviously going to have to forgive him that run, and you have to forgive him that run, because he was really badly hampered early on, and he unseated Ben Jones that day at the first through no fault of his own, and he was fat. He wasn't like a complete long shot in the betting that day. He was 11 to 1, so they fancied him to run well in a competitive race. That was a really hot race, I think, at Utoxeter. A lot of top novice handicap chasers from some really respected yards in the game. You know, you had Nicky Henson in there, Kerry Lee's horse won it in the end, D Machine, and I think it's a race that is going to work out well. We haven't really seen it been tested yet, but I think tomorrow we'll definitely see it. And it's interesting that instead of moving, what they're doing is with this horse, they're not going to be keeping him in novice handicap company. They're actually bringing him into a normal handicap, and it's interesting that they are. Also as well, the ground now at Newton Abbot, they've had plenty of rain down there in Devon over the last couple of weeks, and it's going to be on soft. They are holding a precautionary inspection, I read earlier in the morning, but I think it should be okay. But the testing conditions would really suit Killer Clown, and I think off a mark of 124 he could have quite a few pounds in hand there, and the fact that Connections are sending him here and not going to be keeping him in novice company, thinks really speaks volumes. Also as well, Emma Lavelle a trainer I've got a lot of time for, and she does fairly well at Newton Abbot. In 2020 she's had 3 winners from 11 runners, so she's got a 27% strike rate at the course so far in 2020, and I just think there's a lot to like about this horse, and I don't think it's a particularly strong handicap on paper. And for me, I just think this horse could have quite a few pounds to work with on his handicap mark. So at 5-1 tomorrow, Killer Clown, he's going to be my nap of the day, and fingers crossed he can get his first win over fences for Emma Lavelle. He's going to be my nap of the day. We then go not long after to Stratford upon Avon for the extra tip of the day in the 336, and we're going with a horse here called Cuban Pete for Robbie Dunn and Venetia Williams. You can currently back this horse at 5-1. Now, Venetia Williams, we always normally associate her, which is maybe unfair to somewhat of a degree, with soft ground. And there's going to be plenty of juice and dig in the ground at Stratford tomorrow. And I think this will suit this horse, Cuban Pete. If you look at some of his form already, he seems to go well fresh. He won on his first appearance of the season last year at Hereford off a mark of 109, and then he went to Lingfield in an intermediate chase, and he ran a respectable race behind Clondor Anchor, who's around about 20-30 pounds higher than him or rated higher than him in the weight. So it wasn't a bad effort there, and that probably just ended the season in the end. It was a very testing, grueling race at Lingfield, but still, nonetheless, you know, I think he's fairly well treated in this race tomorrow. He's going to be running off a mark of 110, so he's only £1 higher. Also as well, the thing to notice as well about this horse is Venetia Williams' team look like they could be coming into a little bit of form. They've had 2 winners from their last 7 runners in the last fortnight, including a banger on D a couple of days ago when it was really testing ground, and that was that horse's first run of the season. And there's not too many horses in here that I'm thinking that are really well handicapped and are really going to take the world by storm. I think this is quite a weak chase tomorrow, and there's quite a few horses in here that won't like the ground. Probably the main danger is the Tim Vaughan horse, who will be getting the 4-year-old allowances and getting the £5 as well off his back from Charlie Price. But I just think there's a lot to like about Cuban Pete here, and I think the time to catch him will be fresh. And I think at 5-1 he's a bit of value there. So for me, he's going to be my extra tip of the day, and I'm just going to win. I recommend a win-only bet. We then go with the next bet, which runs on the fibre sand under the floodlights tomorrow in the 6:15 at Southwell, and I'm going with a horse here called Exalted Angel for Clifford Lee and Carl Burke. Now, Carl Burke's team are not in bad form. They had a double at the course on Tuesday, so you want to be taking note of their runners at the moment, it seems. And this horse was a winner a couple of weeks ago at the course, over the course and distance, and absolutely bolted up by 3 lengths. Now, this horse was raised £10 by the handicapper for that effort, but that might not be enough to stop this horse. And sometimes on these kind of specialist tracks, for example, like Southwell, horses can keep on improving and just keep on going up the weights, but it's probably going to do it no good when they race other courses later on down the line. However, Exalted Angel has shown an appetite for this surface. It actually won on this surface earlier in the year, back in March. So to win off a break and not been seen for quite a while suggests that this horse clearly loves the surface, and it wasn't a bad race either last time out. And I just think this horse is going to be really hard to beat tomorrow. And like I said, with Carl Burke's staying on good form, and this horse still only being 4 years old, could still have a few pounds up its sleeve in my opinion. And a 9-4 tomorrow, I think this horse has got really solid credentials, and if it replicates that performance last time at Southwell, it's going to be too hard to beat in my opinion. So that is going to be my next best of the day. Not original, but I think is a good price there. We then end with my long shot of the day, which runs in the last race at Southwell in the 7:45 with a horse called Geography Teacher. Now, I quite liked geography when I was at school, and my geography teacher wasn't that bad. Geography Teacher tomorrow is going to be my long shot of the day. You can currently back this horse at 10-1. Each way I'm going to recommend here. 4 places, Paddy and Betfair, who are both offering the 4 places. And this horse is trained by Kevin Frost, and Lewis Edmonds is booked for the ride tomorrow. Now, this horse, a couple of starts ago, actually won over the course and distance with Lewis Edmonds, and last time was slightly disappointing. Had an apprentice jockey on, William Carver, who's not a bad apprentice, but probably didn't know this horse as well as Lewis Edmonds, who is back on board tomorrow. So I think that's a massive positive. And also as well, this horse didn't have the blinkers on, and they're going to be applying the blinkers tomorrow. Now, he is a bit of a quirky and buzzy sort, this horse. He's a horse that is a strong travelling type and not often comes back from off the pace, and that's exactly what happened last time. He was too far back, and he did all his best work late on to finish in 5th place. Now, I think with a more experienced pair of hands, and also as well the return of the blinkers, we can expect a good run tomorrow. This horse is still racing off a mark of 54, which I think is still very workable. And this horse always seems to bring his best performances to the Fibre Stand. Has won at the course 4 times during his career, and I think he's a major player in this race tomorrow. I think actually last time out it was a bit more of a stronger race, and this is a weaker contest. So for me, I think this horse has got quite a bit of potential tomorrow and shouldn't really be a double figure price. I think 10-1 is a really credible each way bet tomorrow, and I'd be disappointed if the booking of Lewis Edmonds and also as well the reapplication of the blinkers can't get this horse in the first 4. So that is going to be my long shot of the day tomorrow, and fingers crossed we can end that with a good result there in the last race of the day. So I'll quickly just run through the tips, quickly summarise. The nap of the day runs in the 3:28 at Newton Abbot. Killer Clown 5-1 win only bet. The extra tip of the day runs in the 3:36 at Stratford with Cuban Pete 5-1 win only bet. We then go to Southwell for the 6:15 with Exalted Angel 9-4 win only bet. And then in the 7:45 at Southwell, the long shot of the day is Geography Teacher 10-1 each way, Paddy and Betfair, who are offering the 4 places there for Kevin Frost. So they're the 4 best tips for tomorrow's racing. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you hit the subscribe button for more videos here to my YouTube channel. If you're liking the videos as well, please remember to give us a thumbs up. And if you want to follow me on social media, you can do, where my handle is at LuckyLoader15. And also as well, my website address is www.chrisloaderracing.co.uk if you want to find out a little bit more about myself. So please game responsibly. Hopefully we can have some winners tomorrow, and we'll be seeing you soon.